This is an FPL Nightmare, FPL Nightmare song. Roll on game week 38, cause everything's gone wrong. Oh, everything's gone tits up. Ever since game week 1, it's an FPL Nightmare. That's how my season's gone. Oh, I wanted a Vardy party, but his points pinged off the bar. Should have gone with De Bruyne, but I went for Paul Pogba. Oh, I spent 14 million, Liverpool's defensive stars, and 4 mil Johnny Lundstrom. And scored them both by far, cause it's an FPL Nightmare. Got me pulling out my hair. I'm the greatest football manager to ever grace the old armchair. But the FPL gods hate me, and no one seems to care that my points are only average and my ranking is not fair. Oh, I started with Dean Henderson for a save of 2 IOs. Went down the drain in the very first game when everyone else went home. So I brought in the man from Burnley to guard between the sticks, despaired in my misfortunes when it cost me -6. Oh, roll on game week 38, cause everything's gone wrong. Everything's gone tits up. Ever since game week 1, it's an FPL Nightmare. That's how my season's gone, and now I've pinned all my hopes and dreams on Help Me Miss Young Min song. Oh, it's an FPL Nightmare, got me pulling out my hair. I'm the greatest football manager to ever grace the old armchair. But the FPL gods hate me, and no one seems to care that my points are only average and my ranking is not fair.
Hello and welcome to the FPL Nightmare YouTube channel. My name's Andrew and today we are answering that question: can you go into the FPL season without Mohamed Salah? Can you go into it without Erling Haaland? These are the big topics, and I've been quite bullish so far this summer. I've been giving it the big licks about going without either, but now the moment's here and I am getting nervous. I am feeling tense. And it is not a nice thing. So I'm here today to get you to see me over the line, see me through to that deadline. And while we might not go all the way till 6:30, mainly because I want to watch all my mates streaming at 4:30 myself, people like the D Unit, people like Elite FPL. So we will go until 4:30 at the latest. And by then we will have this squad finalised. And I need you to see me over this line because I'm nervous. And you're going to see why in just a minute. Because this is unlike any other season I've ever had in FPL. This is high stakes. My reputation is on the line. And I'm nervous. And in fact, what we're going to do now is I'll ask, is my sound all right? Is my sound all right? FPL Onion saying Tyson Fury vibes. Well, I do intend to become the world champion. There is no denying that. I always have the shaved head. Tyson Fury just lives an hour down the road from me. We've got quite a lot in the chat. Bloody hell, we've got 58 people watching live. I've never had this before. This is what deadline day does to people. You'll even come and watch chancers like me try and entertain you and make you think a little bit differently about the game. So before I bring up the squad from the other day, I've had a hard day out. I went out on Saturday. I was on a family day. I got sunburned. And now my head's been peeling for 2 days. It's falling off. The skin is falling off. I feel like Frankenstein. But today we're going to give life to this game by going against the template, by taking on the FPL cartel. Me and my man D-Unit, we're going all the way this year. I honestly think me and D-Unit might finish 1 and 2 this season, because sometimes you've got to have the cojones to go all the way. You have to make those big balls calls if you want to achieve anything in this game. So we will bring up the squad that I left you with on Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. I can't even remember which day it was. They all bleed together when FPL's on the brain. The only day that matters is deadline day. So, here is the squad. As you can see from the other day, this is what I left you with on the stream. And look, I'm not going to lie, I am having big doubts over this, and I'm sure you can see why. I mean, I'm just waiting for it to catch up on the YouTube screen for me. I will get to the chat shortly. I see you all. I appreciate you all. I'm very grateful for you all. Text your friends, get them to come across to the Nightmare stream. Get them all to give me them subscribes. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. Can we get over that line by deadline? Who knows? Who knows? But you look at this team and it's a gamble. This is a big gamble. And I'll tell you what it is. There are some safe bets in there, I think. You know, Watkins outscored Haaland 2 seasons running, £5 million cheaper. Absolutely perfect for this game. But I will show you who I have highlighted as the risks. And these are the people I see as the risks in this squad going into the season. I have Anderson as a risk. Look, the analytics love him. My man Nick Triggerlips, he has been going on and on and on about Anderson for weeks. And I looked into the data. Them DEFCON points are off the scale. 9.86 per game on the DEFCON. Now, what I want here, I want 3 starters and I need 2 DEFCON subs for the cover. And if I want a DEFCON sub, someone who can get points in any game, Anderson could be up there. But the clean sheets are a problem. D-Unit, I can already know in the chat, D-Unit's going to be like, what are you doing, Nightmare? Why have you still got Anderson in the squad? And I'll tell you why, because this is from the other day. I have tweaked it a little bit and he might even still be in. Because Fulham, despite only getting 5 clean sheets all last season, they actually had the 5th best expected goals conceded in the league. Now, I'm not one of these algorithm acolytes. When Nick Triggerlips comes at me, we call him Template Trigger in the group chat nowadays because he gets all his ideas from Solio, all from FPL Review. He'll tell you he's a rebel, but he's subscribed to them all. But he went on, so I did the research and those were the stats, so I thought Anderson, fair enough. But if Nunes is the gamble, but I like Nunes. 19 starts at right back. He got 81 points with defensive clean sheet points as well, as he's now a defender. If he gets the clean sheet points, then he would have got 108 points last season in 19 starts. Now, if you extrapolate that over the fact he played 2 games out of 3, he would have ended up with 161 points from 2/3 of the season, Matheus Nunes. That is why I like Nunes, but he is a gamble. He doesn't seem to get subbed on when he misses out, but that's why I need those DEFCON defenders on the bench. So the other one, of course, is Wan-Bissaka. Now, a lot of people have gone off Wan-Bissaka. They're saying, there's better DEFCON points. But what I think people are forgetting is that for the first half of the season, West Ham had Julen Lopetegui, or however you pronounce his name, as manager, and they were woeful defensively. They had nothing in the bank. They were more open than your favourite loose woman on a Saturday night. But, sorry, this is very sexist. A very sexist comment. Come on now. It's a good job. 99.99% of my watchers are men, I suppose. But even so, I apologise immediately. It's not the tone we want. This is the pressure of performing live. So, Wan-Bissaka, the thing is, once Graham Potter took over, he got DEFCON points in 9 matches. And in another 9 matches, he was like within 1 or 2 defensive contributions away from those DEFCON points. You factor in, he got 5 goals, I think, or maybe 2 goals and 5 assists, 7 attacking returns. And, I think Wan-Bissaka is a very solid DEFCON defender. And I like it. And I'm seeing D-Unit in the chat and he's telling me I have to bow to peer pressure. Just wait. We have got 2 hours to fill and we have got a lot to get through. I'm not even off my defenders yet from the other day. So, Wan-Bissaka and Anderson, or I do have another name in mind, and it's Agbadoo of Wolves. I like Agbadoo. Agbadoo. Pushing me all the way to world number 2. Agbadoo. And this is the pressure of live. You've just got me singing. What is going on? But I do like Agbadoo for that role. So if I go with 3 premium defenders, then Agbadoo, Anderson, Wan-Bissaka, all very solid. Or Richards, or Gahey of Crystal Palace, all very solid DEFCON defenders. Now, in this squad, there are, it's in attack where the big risks are. You look at Wirtz, he is a risk. I know people think he's going to walk this league, but they thought that about Angel Di Maria, and he did really well for 4 of the first 5 game weeks. He got double figures. And Wirtz will probably do the same. But then Di Maria, you barely even remember he played in the Premier League because he did nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I am a bit hesitant about Wirtz. I'm not as bullish on him as most people are. He was very involved with Liverpool the other day. But after Bournemouth, he's got Arsenal in game week 3 and my beloved Newcastle in game week 2. And I'm not entirely convinced I want people up against my Newcastle, except for Ollie Watkins, because he is the best striker in the game, even better than Haaland. Although that could all change if Alexander Isak gives his head a wobble and gets back in the game, which I think he will in the black and white stripes. But that's for later. We can talk about Isak later. Reinders, reindeer, pulling the D-Unit bandwagon sleigh all the way up the overall rankings to world number 2 because he's not beating me. His own D-Unit cult are going to keep me strong on no Salah, and that's going to take me to number 1. D-Unit saying in the chat, he's going to sing Andy, I love you, Andy, I do. Well, if only my wife would say the same instead of, bloody hell, you're not talking about that bloody FPL again, are you? I don't care. Although D-Unit's wife, she was in the chat in his live stream yesterday. Fantastic stuff. Brennan Johnson. Now, Brennan Johnson is the reason I'm ripping up this entire squad, because he didn't play a single minute on Wednesday night, and I just can't. When I've got these gambles, when I've got Nunes as a minutes gamble, when I've got Reindeer as a minutes gamble, even Gyökeres up front, and now Brennan Johnson as well, it's just too many gambles. Like, you can't win FPL in game week 1, but you can certainly make it very easy to lose it. So Johnson is going to have to come out, and it won't be for Kudos, because Kudos is crap. Flatters to deceive. I remember when Newcastle had this wonderful player. He could beat 10 men with a ball. He could pull magic out of nothing. And they called him Alan Saint-Maximin, but he was a crap FPL asset, and that is Mohamed Kudos. And Gyökeres. Now, I like Gyökeres. I do like the Gyökeres gamble, and we'll get into why in a little while when I show you some of these other squads. But the problem is, what's he going to do? He got like 1 goal in every 3 games for Coventry 2 years ago in the Championship. Now he's stepping up to the Premier League. He's done well in Portugal. You can't deny that. But, you know, so have a lot of people. You know, Afonso Alves, for the older ones of you in the chat will remember Afonso Alves signing for Middlesbrough 18 years ago, coming from Holland, more than a goal a game. They all thought that Afonso Alves was going to smash the league, and he barely did anything. You're thinking, who the hell is Afonso Alves? And that says it all. So that's my concern with Gyökeres. So I'm not sold on this team. It's gone. This team will not be happening. And you can also say I have actually made 2 changes already. In my squad the other day, I had Vicario and Kinski in goal, and that was because I like the idea of having that Spurs defender for that Spurs goalkeeper for that great run of games. You're still spending £9 million, but you guarantee the Spurs keeper, whichever one is preferred. I like that. But the fact is, everyone's going to have Dubravka. He's going to play, and then people are going to buy him. And, you know, in 6, 7, 8 game weeks, he's going to be 4.3 million, and that 4 million goalkeeper option will be gone. And I just don't think it's worth it for the Spurs goalkeepers. You know, like my man D Unit keeps saying, Spurs was 17th. And Brentford's defence wasn't all that last season under Thomas Frank anyway. And he's right. So I've gone for the ex-Newcastle double-up of Sells and Dubravka. A lot of people do it. But I have the reason because of them both being ex-Newcastle. And obviously in that squad there are no Newcastle players at the minute, so it keeps me connected. I feel like I'm not cheating on my beloved Newcastle quite so much. TQ Studio remembers Afonso Alves with Viduka. Now Viduka, he was a good player, like, wasn't he? Right, so this is why my team is so important this year. Why I have to go against the template. Why I have to take on the cartel. But why I have to get it right. The stakes are high, and D Unit, it matters to him as well. So I know a few of his crowd are in there. This is why. Because if you remember from last season, when I first started making content, I actually posted my first video a year ago today. And what my content was all about last season was my struggle to win my mini league and to become the League of Gentlemen champion, of which I was successful. I am the League of Gentlemen champion, but to get there, what I had to do was sacrifice. I had to sacrifice the overall ranking. I had to let the cartel have their way over me to close off that mini league, because that run-in, I went against that template, you know, free hit 34 strategy that everyone copied off everyone. Everyone copied off Praz and then take the credit for being a genius when they're just doing what Praz tells them, which of course is the first golden rule. If in doubt, copy Praz, but I mean copy his mindset. But you can watch that video another time. So the point I'm making is to win that mini league, I had to let the cartel have the way last season. I had to let those big boys bend me over the table and have their wicked way, because my head had gone. My head went in the running. My mini league rival closed up something like 70 points in 2 game weeks or 3 game weeks or something stupid. And then I just went defensive. I bought the players he had and I brought them, you know, I shut him down and I took that title quite comfortably in the end. And I don't want to play that way. What I want this year is to, if I'm going in a mini league and my focus is on winning a mini league, it has to be the best mini league in the world. It has to be the sort of mini league where if you win, you're going to win the game. I wanted a mini league of absolute killers. I wanted to be in a mini league. If I'm shutting down a mini league and if I'm closing out my mini league rivals, I didn't want it to be my mates from around the town in the north of England. I didn't want it to be my mates who you lot don't know and who perhaps aren't the happiest about being talked about on YouTube in such fashion. No, I wanted it to be the best of the best. I wanted the greatest mini league the world has ever seen, for real. I wanted to take on all the big boys. And here they are, nightmares, dreamers. This is my mini league. And a few people have asked if I've got a public mini league, and I haven't. And this is why. Because this is what I've been putting together over the last few weeks. I've been challenging them. I've been requesting nicely. I don't have to be Billy Big Bollocks all the time. I politely requested to join the league to aid my development and become a better FPL player. And look at these people. You don't always have to be brash to take them on. You know, you can say you're going to beat them and have a cup of tea afterwards. So if you look down the right, these are the gentlemen from my old mini league that I've brought over. Jock and Jeeves, my best man. King Ding, 4-time League of Gentlemen champion. Deadly Daz, my brother. Grinchy Vot, the villain of the piece. Gladiator Glenn pushed me all the way last season. The Ox, he was the first winner of the League of Gentlemen. Dan the Dragon, he dethroned me as League of Gentlemen champion. Hilo Hodgson, his brother. Ginger Ben, the Mackham. He's a Mackham and I just want to beat him. He's a pal of mine. I want to punish him. John Go-Karting. You can't see these names down here behind them. John Go-Karting, third when I won the League of Gentlemen for the first time in my book series. And Terminator Trace, who I play dodgeball with on every Wednesday night and now has a reason to Skype dodgeball when I go streaming. But you look at these other 3 columns. Look at these names. Look at them. I'm actually terrified looking at them now. Let's talk FPL. FPL Raptor. FPL Mate. The 3 black box lads. Gianni Bottice. The 2 lads from above average FPL. Hibbo from Scout. FPL Pricey. The FPL Black Wolf. You've got Praz. You've got FPL Harry. Andy Martin. You've got FPL Salah, 4 top 1k finishes. FPL Fran, Greyhead, who, you know, structures are great and they're good. You've got FPL Pickle, 511 last year. Marco Ojala, one of the greatest FPL players of all time. FPL Northern, 5th in the world last season. You've got Trophy Mo, you've got Meerkat, you've got Alf. You've got FPL veteran Shane from the double pivot who streamed with D-Unit earlier. You've got the FPL Juice lads, Alex Follow, you've got Yelena, you've got Elite FPL, Roberto, you've got the D-Unit himself, FPL Have a Beer Gary, and of course the notorious Nick Triggerlips. This is a league that I have to win. This is the next step. I'm not saying I'll be world number 1 this season. Well, I suppose I am. I am saying that. That is the goal. But if I'm not, this will take me closer. And you can see there's a little space at the bottom. And I would love it to be Mark Southerns, I would. But he's gone incommunicado. He's not answering the messages. I'm hoping he'll have a look after the deadline. I'm hoping he'll sneak his way in. Maybe Az will give him a little whisper. Come on, Mark. Become one of Nightmare's dreamers. Maybe, just maybe. Oh, Zophar, Triggerlips' old rival from back in the day. Late Riser, FPL Focal. I've asked them all. Focal said no. The Wire lads did not respond. This is it. This is difficult, like. But if you want to win this game, you have to take on the best. You have to have the courage to step into the ring with the finest the game has to offer. And that's what I'm doing. You know, let me just show you some numbers. You know, these are the algorithm boards. A lot of these are the algorithm. I'm not scared to put FPL Hawk in, but you have to earn it. And maybe I will start a public league. Who knows? If there's enough demand in the chat, maybe I will. Maybe I'll do it live on stream. I'll launch the Nightmare Backup League. But you look at these divisions, you look at these players that I'm going up against, and you look at this. 213 top 100k finishes in this field. Of that, 153 have been top 50k finishes. Of that, 110 have been top 25k finishes. 64 top 10k finishes. 43 top 5k finishes. 19 top 1k, 3 top 100 finishes, and last year's 5th place finish by FPL Northern. This is a simply insane league. And I have, in my locker, I have 1 top 10k finish to my name, which you can see just there. And then the other number last season, that was my 2nd highest rank because of that defensive play. And part of that is because I like taking chances. I like taking on these people. I like it, but it takes skill to be a rebel. It takes skill to go up against them, and I've not always been the best at that. I fall behind and I take the chances to go ahead, but this time I'm taking the big chances to go ahead. And like, you look at these from this league, these are the top 5 finishes. Your FPL Mate, 243rd. Marco Ojala, 123rd. Greyhead, 85th. Nick Triggerlips, 35th. And FPL Northern, Max Littleproud, 5th in the world last season. This is what I'm going up against. And this is what I've brought my boys along as well. You know, my gentlemen, the Pubcast, D-Unit, FPL Gary, Have a Beer. You know, I want to raise the levels. I want people to have to go. I want to pit them against each other. It's easy if you're not in mini leagues with people to think, oh, we'll just do the same thing. We'll adopt the strategy of you know, some of these so-called big men, and we'll just copy Ben Crellin all the way. We'll just optimise our team on FPL Review. In this league, that won't cut the mustard. In this league, with Nightmares, Dreamers, that will not be enough. Because how do you know that's not what half the other field are doing? How are you going to get ahead of these people unless you take the chances? So this is what it's all about. I'm seeing slander of Nick Triggerlips. He got good ranks when 1,000 people played. He gets good ranks now. Nick Triggerlips is better than most people will ever be. And I'll tell you, I'll let you in on a not so secret because his own chat's turning against him. But now Nick Triggerlips is powered by Solio. So you've got Nick Triggerlips and you've got the algorithms, and that is a scary combination for any manager. So we will have to see what is going on there. And to take on these people, I need... This is the squad they're probably going to have. This is the template squad, give or take the odd variation, and it's a good team. Like, you know, it is a very difficult team to overcome because the thing is, you can have Mo Salah in that team, and look how strong it is. Look how strong that team is. You've got Salah, Fernandes, Wirtz, Palmer, Ollie Watkins and Joao Pedro, Elliot Anderson as your seventh attacker. You've got Van der Ven, Anderson, Wan-Bissaka and Nico Williams of Forest. You know, you've got Kelleher in goal. I don't rate Kelleher, but that is a template team and it is very strong. You know, that is a strong team to have to overcome. If it works, if they don't need subs, it's going to be difficult. But I am going to take it on. You know, and the thing with this team, if I've got this right, I might not even have lined this up. Yes, if you look at this template team here, few slight tweaks. If you change that 7.5 million striker to Fulkrug of West Ham, and it looks even better. You know, you've got Milenkovic now. You've got Sells in goal. You could have Sanchez. You've got De Kuiper instead of your 4 million defender. Maybe you go with Reindeers in midfield. You've got Fulkrug, who is on fire in pre-season. You know, this is a dangerous team to go up against. And of course, Mo Salah, while it's nice to go against him, we have to remember he did beat the field by over 100 points last season. People say he's going to drop off. He could drop off 100 points and still win the league, be the highest scorer. But we're going to take that on. We're going to take that on. We've got a few options. And we're going to get through them before we move on to the Q&A section. Right, so I thought if I'm going to take them on, I need to see what I'm up against. I need to see what the options are. So I put together this Haaland and Salah draft. And, you know, it's surprisingly strong considering how much money you have in them two players, 28.5 million in Salah and Haaland. I'm just going to have a drink because I've been talking non-stop for 30 minutes and my mouth's dry. Powered by Vimto as always. Got a can of it as well to spice things up a little bit later when I need a bit of fizz. And of course I have my coffee as well to keep the energy going. So I look at this team and Haaland and Salah draft. Morgan Rogers, Jorgen Strand Larsen, Fulkrug, Reindeers, Bruno Fernandes, Amad Diallo. You've got 4.5 million defenders, Petrovic in goal. You know, it's a good team. Like, you can't deny it's a good team, but I don't think it's good enough. I don't think that is good enough for me. So that one off the table. Although I do like Amad Diallo, and he will be in my team as soon as possible. I do like him. I think he's got 170 points in him this year if he stays fit, even from wing back. And I do. I believe in Amad Diallo. I think he's exquisite. So now we switch up. 116 people watching. What's going on? Madness. I appreciate you all here. I'm sorry I'm not keeping up with the chat yet. I have a lot to get through and I am nervous about time. But I see you all who are here and I love you all. I'm very grateful for any support because I've had a year of struggling to get any viewers at all. You know, it's hard. I did blogs for 3 years. I was barely getting 12 reads a week. I did a year on the videos. It just felt a relief to get 100 views on a video. Do you know what I mean? I said to Gary a lot, once I get 100, I settle down because I'm never getting 1,000, but I don't want double figures. I want it to be, you know, if I can get 100, I'm happy. And now, like, my last few have smashed over 2,000, and it's a bit unreal for me, really. It is a bit overwhelming at times, but I love it. I want more, because the more of you that challenge me to go against the template, the more of you that hold me to account, the more brave I feel, the more fueled by taking down the cartel I become. Quance's saying, I forgot Minty and Harry Wilson. Well, actually, coming up in a little bit, we've got I believe I do have Minty in a draft, unless I decided to take him out because I thought the draft looked better without him. So, this is the one with Haaland and Salah, but it's with all attacking fullbacks. And look, I mean, that's exciting. These attacking fullbacks, there's no DEFCON points in them. But Coyote, he was on everyone's lips at the end of last season, forgotten about. Dorgu looked attacking in pre-season. Can he do it? Could be well. De Kuiper, I like De Kuiper. He will probably be in my final team. Truffert, you look what Kirkes did in that Iraola system. Truffert could easily match that. You know, is it Kirkes that's a great defender, or is it Iraola and his system that's increasing what Kirkes looks like? Because I worry about that Liverpool defence. I don't think it's all that. And, you know, you think of, like, they're playing Newcastle, my beloved Newcastle, in game week 2. And we have Alanga, we have Jacob Murphy, we have Anthony Gordon, we have Harvey Barnes. There's pace, so much pace in that attack. And if you've got Frimpong and Kirkes bombing down the wings, they're just asking for trouble. It was 3-3 last season. I'm not ruling out 4-0 Newcastle against Liverpool, because they are going to get punished for this summer. They are going to get punished. So I am not ruling out 4-0 Newcastle. I might even go so far as to say we'll get Wisser signed and it'll be 5-0 to Newcastle in game week 2. Why not? We did it to Man United when they beat us to the league. We've already shown Liverpool are nothing to be feared in the cup final. So 5-0 against that woeful defence that can't defend. Old man Van Dijk turning circle of the Titanic with a load of people scared to defend, scared to get back against that pace. Tasty. So I do like this one. But then I thought, what if I get rid? What if I back myself with that? If I think Newcastle could win 5-0 against Liverpool, why on earth have I got Mo Salah when I could have Anthony Gordon? Now, I see a few in the chat asking where I'm from. I'm from the north. I'm from the border towns. I'm from Cumbria, 33 miles from the border to Scotland. If you want to put it in fictional terms, I'm from Winterfell, and I will be the king of the north. Crikey Moses. So this is the team I put together if I removed Salah with Anthony Gordon, and look how much better that looks already. Even with a 4.5 million striker on the bench, you've got Palmer, Wirtz, Gordon, Fernandes, Rodgers, Haaland and Strand Larsen. What an attack that is. And then on your bench, you've got Milenkovic, Agbadou, Wan-Bissaka, De Kuiper and Anderson. You've got the Matt Sells in goals. That team, even with Haaland, is delightful. What I don't like about it, though, is that where's the escape route for Strand Larsen? Say Strand Larsen breaks his leg in the first match. What do? Go to full Krug? What if he's benched for Wilson? You can't go for Callum Wilson because he gets injured after every 2 or 3 games. So there's no escape route for Strand Larsen, and I don't like that. Excuse me. I don't like that there's no escape route from Strand Larsen, because at the start of the season you can take your chances, but you have to be sensible. It's strategic bets. You know, you don't just go all in on a number on the roulette table. You pick the right numbers, you space it out. And this is what I'm doing. So we go, instead of Strand Larsen, if we have a 7.5 million striker, and I think that looks really nice as well. I think that looks quite strong. You've got, I've put Joao Pedro in just because he's on form. I don't rate Joao Pedro at all. I don't rate him. I know everyone's high on him because he's done well in a few friendlies, but this is Joao Pedro. He got 5 non-penalty goals last season when he was the main man. Now he's up against Liam Delap. He's got Nkunku and Jackson are still there. You've got Estevao coming through, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto did well up front. You know, I don't think Joao Pedro's getting anywhere near the minutes to make him worth 7.5 million. But if you get him on the hot streak, maybe you get a few points and you switch him over to Johan Wisser if he signs for Newcastle right before that Leeds game, you know. So the 7.5 million is a good position because you've got the outs. You've got Solanke, you've got Wood, you've got Wisser, you've got Evan Nilsson, you've got Strand Larsen if you really want. And that's a bit more strategic. You know, in the midfield, I've dropped Gordon for Reinders, and that's fine because you've got Elliot Anderson, you've got Tonali, who, you know, Tonali's a good player. He'll get the DEFCONs. He's got a goal in him. He'll probably be on a few set pieces this season. I wouldn't start with him, but he's an option. And Dewsbury Hall as well. And obviously in this defence, you've got Pedro Porro as an attacking fullback. You've got 2 5.5 millions. So I actually think this team looks really quite strong. Don't like that Krupa Jr. though. I think you need a playing bench. I think you need it because this year 9 teams from the Premier League are in Europe, and maybe you can go without it at the start, but you're factoring in 2 transfers here because rotation is happening, people. The rotation is happening, and we need to be prepared for it. I'm not saying, excuse me, I'm not saying you need a lot of people, a lot of money on your bench, but you need some players that will play. So I don't. That's what's holding me back off this one. I just don't like that. But those are the end of my Salah and Haaland drafts, and now I'm going to show you the 2 drafts that I've come up with last night at 5 a.m. that I really like. So I'll just have a quick drink of my coffee out my new mug that I bought yesterday, and I got home and I had a chip in the rim. I couldn't believe it. Like, nobody likes it when a chip is in the rim. Excuse me, bloody hell! I've been going fast. Like, I've been nailing the. My throat's a bit dry. Right, we've had the coffee. The bladder will start filling now. That's me 5th coffee of the day because, like I say, I was up till 5 in the morning formulating these plans because I needed to be ready. You know, I need. If I'm taking on the cartel, you know, if I am taking on this league, if I am going up against the best FPL has to offer from the last 15 years, from the last 5 years, from the last 2 years, if I am taking on that killer's row, I need to have the plans. It would be negligence not to be prepared when you see those names that you're going up against. So this is what FPL Salah yesterday really got in my head. Because he said, shared this article that he says he always goes by. Sheshko. Colm's asking me to say Sheshko. I prefer Yokeresh. I love the way that sounds. That's honestly, Yokeresh. The way that sounds in my mouth is what makes me want him in his team. But this is what I would go. FPL Salah he shared the article and said, take your safe bets at the start of the season. You don't want to gamble on players new to the league. You don't want players in a new team. You don't want players with a new manager. You don't want players with a drastic formation overhaul. Because that's where it's hardest to predict what will happen. Excuse me. So I thought, right, let's put a draft together based on that safety first, safe bets, nailed players in nailed teams, have proven themselves. And I put this draft together, and honest to God, if you're taking the template on, like, you might say it's a safe pick. You might say this is too safe, but this is the gamble that could beat the cartel. Because you look at that defence, you've got Milenkovic, Daniel Munoz, less than 10% owned Munoz, and he got, he was a killer at times. Like, I do think he flattered to deceive a little bit, mainly because every time I played him, he didn't out. But, I mean, he's so attacking. He's more attacking than the likes of Salah in his own team. And he's good on the DEFCONs. I'm sure I read somewhere he was like one DEFCON, one C bit away from 2 bonus points on the Charity Shield. So Munoz, perhaps being overlooked. Yes, he's got Chelsea, Forest and Villa. But Chelsea are missing Colwill. So could he get down that left-hand side? Of course he could. Especially with Cucurella so attacking. And then, who is it? Villa. I mean, Villa, they're not all that. They're a good team, but they're not all that. And then Nottingham Forest. Like, I mean, if you go on pre-season, Nottingham Forest is as close to a clean sheet banker as you're going to get this season. Even more than Burnley, because they just don't score goals at the minute. You've got Nuno Santo in his press conference earlier saying they're nowhere near ready. Now, I know people have been panicking about that a little bit, but I think he's just trying to push for signings. I know he's trying to get a few people over the line. But Munoz against Forest is nothing to fear at all. There's a clean sheet and a return in that. So I like Munoz. And there is tough games, and I can see him getting returns in all of them. Then they open up. And then Milenkovic, you play him against anyone, especially with that goal threat. Boosh, always back to Serbs. That's what Jelena would say. And then you've got 3 rotating DEFCON monsters in Anderson, Agbadou and Wan-Bissaka. Beautiful defence. All nailed. All safe bets. Sells is a great one. You could even... I wouldn't go Sanchez. Now, I know a lot of people are on Sanchez, and it's not because of Donnarumma. I know Trigger keeps pushing Donnarumma. I don't think Donnarumma's going to Chelsea. But I just don't think... Sanchez is one mistake away from that confidence falling through the floor and getting replaced again. He's just not worth the hassle when you've got Matt Sells, who's absolutely nailed, and Forest are so bad in attack, they're going to have to keep clean sheets. So I would say Sells is the one from your 5 million. And do you know what? I wouldn't even rule out Nick Pope. Fair enough, we've got Liverpool, Villa, tough couple of games. Although, actually, I would rule out Nick Pope because we've got Ramsdale, and I do think Ramsdale will get a chance, although probably in the Cups at first. Then you look at this safe bet attack. I mean, if you look at any of these players in isolation, Elliot Anderson, first sub, DEFCON monster, one of them misses out, comes off the bench, probably going to get 4 points. But you look at that, Palmer, Saka, Rodgers, Fernandes, Watkins, Mateta and Bowen. Safe bets. Absolute bankers in teams. Well, to be fair though, Palmer, maybe Palmer isn't because he keeps getting shunted around. But that is a lovely attack. And do you know what the secret sauce of this attack is? Captaincy. How are you going to take on Mo Salah, captain? What about Bowen against Sunderland game week 1? Saka against Leeds game week 2? Bruno Fernandes against Burnley game week 3. Sorry. Ollie Watkins. Feck. I can't remember. There's another one against a promoted team in game week 4. Mateta against Sunderland in game week 4. Watkins against Sunderland in game week 5. Like, look at that. 5 captains against promoted teams. Bowen against Sunderland. Saka against Leeds, Fernandes against Burnley, Mateta against Sunderland, and Watkins against Sunderland. And what's more, for me, I might not have Newcastle players in that team, but that would have 3 ex-Newcastle players in Anderson, Sells and Dubravka. And it would have 3 captains against Sunderland in 5 game weeks, and that is tasty for me. I really quite like that. So I think that is a very good team to take on the template. Now, the problem, of course, is Arsenal's fixtures horrible 3 to 6, absolutely horrible. And what's the out for Saka? Who are you going from Saka to if you're not having Mo Salah? I just don't know. I quite like Marmoush. I do quite like Marmoush. And I wouldn't be against having him in my team. My strategy that I showed in the video the other day did have Marmoush as an option to, if Reinders didn't work, to bring in Marmoush. So I quite like that one. I do. I think that's the one that could take down those dreamers in my mini league. A league of absolute killers, like. But I don't think any of them will have the balls to go with that. And I think, because the thing is, like, it's all well and good if Salah goes off. Say Salah goes off tonight, he gets a hat-trick, 15 points, 2 points, clean sheet, 18 points, 3 bonus points, 21 points, 42 points. Great. How are you going to not captain him against Newcastle? How are you going to not captain him against Arsenal? And then he could get 2 points in both of those games. So then you've got 50 points from your captain in the first game week. Bowen could get 2 goals against Sunderland. Saka could get 2 goals against Leeds. Bruno Fernandes could get 17 points against Burnley. And then suddenly, my captains have beaten Mo Salah over the first 3 game weeks. So, this is what I mean. It's an accumulation of points. The hard thing is, it's game week 1, and nobody likes to be behind. But we're playing the long game. If you watch my chip strategy, game week 13 wildcard, game week 15 bench boost, game week 17 free hit, game week 19 triple captain. And I probably should have prepared a slide about my chip strategy, but I was running short of time and I had all these drafts to do. But basically, game week 13, you've got Liverpool, Man United, Man City and Newcastle, all beautiful fixture swings. So you bring in them. Game week 15, you have your bench of Brighton and Spurs players, and then you've got a bench boost against 15 players against the 6 teams, the 3 promoted teams, and the 3 teams from last season who I think are most likely to fight relegation. Game week 17, you've got 9 players in that team from the wild card in 13. You've got 9 players. You've got Newcastle against Chelsea, Spurs against Liverpool, and I can't remember who the third one is, but it's Man United versus someone. Maybe Man United and Arsenal, I can't remember. Man United have got a tough game. That Chelsea, Man United versus Chelsea. So you've got 9 players in game week 17 from that squad with tough games. They could do well in them, probably won't. But then you've got Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and Brighton playing the promoted teams. 2 of them at home. So that's a great week for the free hit. Get out those, Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle players against the other top 6 teams and get in Bournemouth, Brighton and Crystal Palace against the promoted teams. And then game week 19, it's just, you look at the fixtures for 19 and it is called out for triple captain. You've got the reverse of the game week 15 fixtures. So you've got Liverpool against promoted team. You've got Man City against promoted team. Newcastle against promoted team. I think it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I like going late with chips because I like to know if I'm struggling, I like to know my points are coming. Because if a lot of people like bench boost too, I hate it. A lot of people say, just get rid of the bench boost and I don't have to think about it. I hate it. I think, what are you doing? Why are you throwing away such a powerful weapon? I like to save my chips as late as possible because if you do, then if you have these bad game weeks, you've got extra points coming later on that a lot of people won't have. And I like that. So that is my strategy. And then... So this is the safe bet team. I think it's fantastic. I really do. And then you go over to this, and this is the safe gambles. So it's the same principle of the safe bets team, but there's got a few gambles in there. And I've got Matheus Nunes in there. I like Matheus Nunes. I want Matheus Nunes in my team. I have been bullish on him, but I think his position gets me 200 points if I go with him. If I have the nerve to follow through with Matheus Nunes, I think it's 200 points because 161 points off 2/3 of the season, and then a DEFCON monster for the other third. It's 200 points. And why would he not repeat it when Man City got so much better last season after he went to right back? That's when they started keeping all the clean sheets. Yes, he had that aberration against Arsenal when they got beat 5-1, but after that, he was unbelievable. And then Rangers and Wirtz in midfield instead of Saka and whoever, Elliot Anderson. So yeah, you've got Rangers as a 5.5. Bit more attacking, bit more of a gamble. Probably miss out a bit more, but you've got Anthony Gordon there as well. And then Wirtz. I mean, you've got to think Wirtz is going to... I think Wirtz is going to be the new David Silva. I think he's going to smash the league, so I'm not worried about it. So I think that's good. I think that is a good squad. It's got $1 million in the bank because if I don't want Strand Larsen, I could have a 7.5 million striker. I can get up to a 7.5 million striker. If I want Gyökeres in game week 2, I could bring him in for Bowen. Easy enough. Yes, the fizzy is out. It is business time, says Andy Roo. So I do like this squad a lot. I like the defence. Milenkovic, Nunes, Munoz, lovely. 2 monsters on the bench. Palmer, Wirtz, Reinders. Well, Palmer, Wirtz, Fernandes, Gordon, Bowen, Strand, Larsen and Watkins. Beautiful. What an attack that is. And obviously Rangers as the cover. I like it. I like it a lot, but I'm not sure. So I will now transition over to my live browser filter, and this is the team I've got actually loaded up at the minute. And you've got until the end of the stream to change my mind. I like it. I do. I like it, but I like it with Saka as well. You know. I'm not sure on Munoz though. So what I'll do is I'll leave that team up for now and I'll have a look through the chat. So now, if you want your questions answered, if you want opinions, now's the time to drop those opinions in the chat. So, a few people are saying I've got 1,000 subscribers now. Is that the case? I can't see. I can't see while I'm on the air. I maybe could. I just don't know what I'm doing. It's only my 3rd ever live stream. So that is fantastic, 1,000 there. Now, if only I had the watch hours, I'm going to have to drag this stream out as long as possible to get the watch hours over 4,000 so I can get monetized. Nah. I'm sure it'll come in due course as you follow my journey taking on Nightmare's Dreamers in that absolute killer mini league. So, are there any questions in the chat? Am I blind? Do you not have your own league one can join? I don't have my own league for the public yet. Well, tell you what, put it in the chat now. I don't know. Can I put a poll? Start a poll. I'll put a poll. Should I start a public mini league? I'll put that in the chat now. There you go. If you want, if it's overwhelming, if it's a 60-40, I probably won't, you know. If it's 52-48, I would say that's not really a decisive verdict worth upending the season strategy for. But I'll put it in there and we'll see what happens. Right, so I'll go back catching up on the chat. Yeah, D-Unit, man, I really appreciate all the support from D-Unit. He has been keeping me strong over the last couple of nights when I've been in doubt of my strategy. He has been keeping me strong. Let me know in the chat what you think of that squad, because this is what I'm on at the minute. Sells, Munoz, Nunes, Milenkovic, Palmer, Vert, Fernandez, Rangers, Gordon, Watkins and Bowen. Strand Larson, Agbadu and Anderson as the subs with Dubravka. Let me know what you think of that. Let me know if you preferred any of the other drafts I've shown. Let me know what changes you would make. I would appreciate it. This is why I'm here. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to say what I want to do, and to get the support, to have the courage to actually follow it through, because I get in my own head. I do. I get in my own head, and then I watch Praz's video, and Praz gets in my head. Praz is a master of the mind game. Even inadvertently, he showed that Solio graphic in his video, saying, Salah was going to be 3 or 4 of the first 5 game weeks. He was the top captain by a point on the analytics, and I'm like, well, these are just the models, but the models are based on something. What if I'm wrong? That is the question that haunts my FPL journey. What if I'm wrong? And then I talk myself out of things and I panic. I absolutely panic. But I don't want to this season. I want to stay strong. I want to keep going. I want to take on the cartel, and I want to win that mini league. Look at these names. You can predict what most of their team's going to be. You can. And I want to take it on. I want to finish first here. I've got my mates with us, and they'll take chances as well. My mates aren't template at all. They don't even know what these programs are. Jock and Jeeves, he's been struggling to get engaged the last couple of years. And I'm like, you're going to have to be in this league. I can't do the league without you. And he's like, I don't even really pay attention. I don't have time. And hands up, I'm going to be honest with you, like I always am. I told Jock and Jeeves, just use FPL Review. I said, if you can't figure it out, if you don't have the time for the research, just use FPL Review and stay in the league. And it's not because he needs it. He doesn't. And it's not because I want him to cheat, because I don't. But if he starts using FPL Review, then I know in 2 or 3 weeks he's going to start feeling dirty. He's going to start feeling like he's cheating, and he's going to stop using it, and he's going to start making his own choices. So if FPL Review gets Jock and Jeeves back in the game, that's a win-win for everyone. But that Review is going to be popular among these lot. I think this team could beat them. I do. And it's the transfers, I think I've got a better chip strategy than anybody else I've seen. I have seen the chip strategies going around, and I think they all suck. Let's throw away this chip. Let's randomly triple captain in a random game week. What are you doing? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's what so many, cliche films would say. That's what my old PE teacher would say. I have got a plan for 19 game weeks. And that's when I reassess. And you can see it all on my videos. If you want, it was only the other week. Somebody going by outside. I hope my microphone didn't pick that up for you. So, MXN thinks people are sleeping on Paqueta. Well, I don't think they are. Good player, but what's he going to do? Hippie, hello FPL Hippie. Prefers it Salah, Haaland, Saka, Verts, Gyökeres squad. It sounds very attacking. Could go off. Fair play to you. Take it all on. 2 game wonders if I think Gakpo is a good punt, and my thoughts on Evan Nilsson. I love Evan Nilsson. I do. I like him. Evan Nilsson's in contention for me for this squad. I like him. And I think he's got a tough opening game week, but after that, I think it's a beautiful run. And I think Bournemouth are going to concede goals, so having someone like Evan Nilsson in your squad is going to be advantageous because they're going to need to score goals. Also, with Kluivert out, Evan Nilsson could well be on penalties, And it looks like we're going to get a lot more penalties in the opening weeks because they've changed the rule on holding in the box. And if you remember with the handball changes, loads of penalties. And now it could be the same with the holding. It was Andy North on the black box last night or the night before that brought that up. Very important to consider. So I do like Evan Nilsson. What I'd say with Evan Nilsson is leave that $500,000 in the bank, because then if Evan Nilsson, something happens to him and you don't have money in the bank, you're only out is Strand Larsen or Fulkrug. Whereas if you've got $500,000, like, it opens up. You always need your escape clauses, which is what Alexander Isak should have put in his contract, and he didn't. And now he's going to stay at Newcastle, and Eddie Howe's going to sort him out. Hayden Krellin says, Bruno Fernandes. Am I pronouncing his name incorrectly? Well, I can't speak Brazilian Portuguese, or even just Portuguese in general. So, where's the vodka, says the unit? Well, I don't drink that often. Although I might have a sneaky limoncello now I've hit 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I'm actually genuinely quite touched by that. Fantastic. Where's Isak's streaming for vengeance? Well, by all accounts, he'll be getting to the Newcastle training ground now, seeing as everybody else has left. And right now he's in the corner sulking in the pram while his dummy is on the floor because he signed a 6-year contract and can't just leave £40 million under the asking price 3 years early. And look, let's talk about Isak. He's going to be at Newcastle next season unless something's happened while I'm live and I now look a fool. But Liverpool aren't going to pay the money. They don't want to. Liverpool don't want Isak. What they want is to destabilise the rivals. They want to destabilise somebody coming through. Liverpool aren't trying to sign Isak. If Liverpool wanted Isak, they wouldn't have signed Ekitike. Because if we'd have signed Ekitike, Isak would be playing for Liverpool now. So Liverpool don't want Isak. They just want the world to think they want Isak. Because if you want a player, you don't bid 40 million under the asking price, then make no further bids for like 3 weeks. So, yeah, Liverpool are playing Isak for a fool. Isak's agent, 60 years old, looking out for his... he's a dodgy bugger, is Isak's agent. He's banned from a few clubs. He's after one last payday, and he's got inside Isak's head. And, you look at them scenes of Isak at the end of the season, You look at the scenes of Isak when we won the cup. He's standing there, arms outstretched. He's on the bus. He's singing and dancing on the stage. Isak's happy. People are saying Isak's wanted out for a year. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. And he said he wanted to leave at the end of the season. Well, if he wanted to leave at the end of the season, why is he making kit launch videos with Tino Asprilla? It makes no sense. It doesn't add up. I think what's happened is Isak's agent has been on with Liverpool and they've concocted this plan to try and get Isak to force his way out in the hope that they'll get him on the cheap. And, Newcastle aren't playing those games. And you might think, it's better for Newcastle to get rid of him, even if it is cheap. But it isn't. Because if Isak's allowed to spend the summer kicking up a fuss, not making a transfer request, so he gets a load of money, and then he leaves for a cut price deal, the next year it's going to be Gordon, it's going to be Tonali, it's going to be Guimaraes. All these other players, Sven Botman, all these other players will have seen the Isak blueprint to get a move to a bigger club, and the bigger clubs will be encouraging it because they'll know that it'll work. So I don't think Isak's going anywhere. It's like Ferguson with Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll sell you next year, but I can't sell you to that club this summer the way they've carried on. It's the same with Isak. And I actually don't think he'll end up at Liverpool. I think next year, I've been saying this for about 10 months, I think he goes to Real Madrid next year. And it's not been floated, but I think the Saudis buy Vinicius Jr. Mbappe moves to the left wing, and then Isak goes up front. Or if they play two up front, Mbappe on the left and Isak on the right. I think it works out for everyone. And That's what I think will happen. Or Barcelona, Bayern Munich. They're both going to need a striker next year. So I just don't see why Isak's going to be leaving Newcastle now. When, you know, who were meant to get? Nicholas Jackson, you know. Strand Larsen, I'd take a chance on Strand Larsen. If we got Strand Larsen and Wissa for like 90 million combined, 100 million combined, we had another 50 million in the bank, and we lost Isak, I'd take that. I would, because Isak and Wilson got 23 goals between them last season, and Strand Larsen and Wissa got 33 goals. So we'd be gaining 10 goals in that kind of Moneyball approach. So I would take that. And then what can you do with the £50 million? An awful lot. Donnarumma's on the market. Maybe we sell Pope and get Donnarumma. Can't see that, but it would be quite cool. So maybe we just put it on the wages. And likewise, another thing people are saying about Isak. I'm sorry this has turned into the Isak stream, but I have needed an avenue to vent about this farce, this shame on the modern game for a while. And the other thing is, I'm hearing a lot of people say, oh, Newcastle, keep him past the deadline and then give him a new contract on the money he wants for a year with a release clause. Like, what? So what you're telling me is that, and this is Newcastle fans, you know, and what they're telling me is to think after a summer of refusing to train, refusing to play, refusing to go on promotional tours, and, you know, having his agent disrupt our pre-season in the press, what you think should happen to Isak as a result of that is that he gets a double your money pay rise and he gets to leave easier next summer for a cheaper price. Like, are you stupid? Because again, what precedent is that setting? Anthony Gordon will do the same, or Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes. Why would you set that precedent? Quite frankly, in my eyes, Isak took the gamble. He thought he could force his way out and get the big money, and he's wrong. Perhaps. Looks like he's wrong. Unless Newcastle come to a compromise somewhere. And quite frankly, he shouldn't be rewarded for it. He should be made to stay and have to go through the entire thing again next summer. And he should be forced to publicly apologise. I can't believe he hasn't been fined yet, quite frankly. Although if he doesn't play tomorrow, he will be. So anyway, I'm going to get on from Isak. Although the viewers are going up when I'm ranting about Isak. Maybe I should just start swearing about him. But nah. I would like to see... What I would say is Eddie Howe's played a masterstroke because he's condemned the behaviour, but he's not condemned the player. He said he's understood the player's viewpoint. And I think Eddie Howe will reintegrate Isak well. And I think Isak's going to have a great season for Newcastle. But this is what I would say. Nicholas Jackson, I actually think Nicholas Jackson would do wonderful for Newcastle. I think he's the sort of player that fits Eddie Howe's football perfectly. You know, that high intensity, counter-attack, hard running, high pressing style of football. I think Nicholas Jackson will be wonderful. And when you look at how Eddie Howe improved Isak from a 6-goal-a-season striker to the greatest striker in all of world football. Imagine what you could do with a player who's got like 28 goals in 64 Premier League games already. So I would be up for that. But what I would do is I'd pay Chelsea like 120 million for Jackson and get them to pay 220, 240 million for Isak, sell Isak to Chelsea, get Jackson off them and absolutely tie up PSR for both clubs for the next 3 years. These stupid rules are there to limit us, so let's just take the mick here. Get Jackson vastly overpriced, sell Isak vastly overpriced, world record fee, and like the amount of money that'll actually change hands will be the same. It's just what it looks like in the books. So, anyway, we will go back to the chat. Is Truffert locked? I think Truffert's locked. Why wouldn't it be? Very attacking player. I do like the Kuiper. That's the one thing about this draft. Maybe I should have one attacking sub-defender and one DEFCON defender. Maybe that would be the better way. But then I've got two very attacking defenders in there already. So Kadioglu, yeah, you see, Ferdy Kadioglu, I think people have forgotten about him. True, he brings up a good point there, because De Kuiper, last year's De Kuiper was Kadioglu. People thought he'd be nailed either flank, you know, ahead of Lamptey, ahead of Veltman, ahead of Estupinan. And then he got that injury, but he's back now. So why wouldn't he throw a spanner in the works? But then at the same time, why wouldn't you have Kadioglu right back and De Kuiper left back? I think it's interesting. Brighton, of course, not in Europe, one of the few teams in the Premier League who aren't. Excuse me. So they don't have that rotation risk. People asking where I'm from. Yep, I'm from Penrith in Cumbria. Brown Town, they used to call it, because of all the heroin problems. But not actually one I've ever come across. And I have come across some recreational fun, but never that one, which I'm glad for, because I was a bit stupid in my youth, and my life would have probably been very different if I had. Steve-O's saying that he's going to finish bottom of the Nightmares Dreamers. You're not, Steve-O. I can promise you're not, because half the people that I've brought in from my league are going to struggle. But yeah, I mean, we'll bring it back up again. Well, no, I'm not going to keep bringing it back up, because it's getting to the point where I'm just like, oh, look at who my mates are. But no, it is a very difficult league. But you know, there's going to be a few off the pace, certainly from my division, that I've brought over. So, who getting any last minute FOMO from FPL Punk? No, not really. In fact, streaming has made me even more resolute about not having Mo Salah, because look at that. I mean, look at that squad. And that one on the screen has got Anthony Gordon, and I do want a Newcastle player. I just do. It's not right not having a Newcastle player. And then I've got, like I say, I'd have not as many captains against Sunderland though, so I do like that one with Mateta. What else is going on in the chat? Leave the money for Evan Nilsson. Agba do Wan-Bissaka Kuiper, perhaps. Joao Pedro Nkunku, very possibly. You know, I mean, he's got a petulant streak as well, Joao Pedro. You know, one red card for kicking off last season. Very lucky to avoid another one. I mean, he's a very much a Cunha kind of player, is Pedro, but less nailed. Like Cunha had that in him, but he was nailed. Cunha's a lot like Tino Asprilla, I think. And I wish Newcastle had signed him, but they didn't. And I think, you know, I actually think if I was really feeling bold, I'd go with Cunha in game week 1, because Man United are beating Arsenal. I'll say it right now, they're beating them. Dango Ouattara out of position now. I don't like Dango. I did have him a couple of times last season, mainly because my daughter watches the Japanese anime, and we were watching Clannad as a family, and it's all about the big Dango family, like the Dango like bread rolls or something. Dango, 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 Dai Kazaku. That's how it goes. And then that song was stuck in my head. And then I brought Dango in and it did nothing. And I realised not to pick my team based off the theme songs of Japanese anime. Much better to pick it off the clues from Nick Triggerlips' Mystical Parrot, which you can find on my channel once I've finished streaming. I might even finish streaming. Bloody hell, I've been going 75 minutes already. Crikey, we're getting through it. I've not even got to most of the questions. I've seen that one, Sheshko. I quite like Sheshko. I think he's going to be a good player. He's another one of them 7.5 million strikers you want to have the avenue to get to. Do you know what? Do you know what I think would make this team perfect? And if instead of Rangers, it was Amad Diallo. I really want Amad. The closer we get to the deadline, the more I want Amad. And I know that sounds daft when it's Arsenal and Man City in the first 4 game weeks, but I really believe in Amad Diallo. But maybe he can wait till game week 5. Let's just be a bit sensible here. Right. Lucas Hatchman, Rodgers and Joao Pedro or Wirtz and Fulkrug? I'm going to say Rodgers and Joao Pedro because they're both Premier League proven to some degree with Pedro, but also because you've got more avenues for more escape routes. You know, Pedro's got a lot of escape routes. Rodgers, fair enough. There's a few 7 millions. You're probably going to have to go down, but I would go Rodgers and Joao Pedro over Wirtz and Fulkrug. Looks a tad template to me. I can't even remember which draft that's on. That's how far behind the chat I am. So the Maharani's Closet is saying Palmer, Enzo, Wirtz, Reindeers, Papamate, Sarr in midfield. I mean, I think that's terrible, quite frankly. I think that's a terrible midfield. You know, Enzo, Reindeers and Papa Sarr, you pick one of them players, not all three. Watkins, Haaland, Ekitike up front. You see, I do like Ekitike. I do like. And I have considered him. Like, if I look at this now, if I take out Bowen and I put in Ekitike, I've still got $500,000 in the bank. And it looks quite good, I think. I do like that gamble. I have considered it. And of course, Nick Triggerlips' mystical parrot. It led us to the sign with the indigenous plants of New Zealand on. And then as we explored those plants, it led us to the Maori translation of one, which was the Putekateke. So I do quite like it. I thought, you know, he did well on Sunday against Crystal Palace, but the problem I have with it, double Liverpool against Newcastle in game week 2. I've already got Watkins against Newcastle. I'm not keen on that at all, but you know, I can take my striker blanking in the first game week if Watkins does, if it's against Newcastle. What I can't have is 2 attackers blanking against Newcastle in game week 2 as well. I just don't really want them. So I'm not keen on Ekitike unless I get rid of Wirtz. So we'll restore Bowen for now. Of course, with this draft, I do have £1 million in the bank. So I could just go Reindeers to Amad Diallo. But I do want to save that £1 million just in case we get Wissa. Because if I could get Wissa in, that would be quite nice, I think. So, Brennan Johnson ahead instead of Rodgers. You see, Louise De La Hoz, saying Brennan Johnson instead of Rodgers. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Brennan Johnson didn't play the other night. D-Unit's pimping out his card in the chat. Right, I want to talk about D-Unit's card. Because he talks about this card like it's got mystical powers, like it is a parrot that has befriended Nick Triggerlips. But I turned to the card once last season, and it was when I was on free hit 36, and I said, card, is triple Nottingham Forest defence a gamble too far? And it said no. It said go with triple Nottingham Forest defence, and they conceded inside about 2 minutes. So I don't trust his card, and his D-Unit says, oh, it was the rogue card. Well, he never told me that, did he? So, yeah, the card is in my bad books. And he's asking about Big Dan Burn. Why have I not got Big Dan Burn? And I'll tell you for why. It's because Sven Botman's fit. We've just signed Malik Chow. We've got Lascelles back fit. We've got Cher and we've got Burn. I think we'll start with Burn and Cher. But I can see Botman in very, very soon for Dan Burn. I think there's going to be a lot of rotation in that Newcastle defence. It wouldn't surprise me if we went with Cher and Burn in the league and then Chow and Botman in Europe, to be honest with you. Lascelles won't get many minutes. The card is called Cunha captain. It did call Cunha captain. I don't care for the card. So anyway, that's why I'm not going for Big Dan Burn. I'm catching up with this chat. I'm getting there. Get your questions in because I'm nearly there. I'm nearly at the bottom. Thoughts on Marlon? I don't have any. I don't rate him. I don't rate him as a pick. Like, if you're going for Aston Villa, it's Watkins and Rodgers. Like, why would you go anywhere else? Rodgers is a minutes monster. He'll play every minute he's fit for, just about, and he'll outscore Marlon. And Watkins should be in everybody's team. How Watkins is at more own than Mo Salah, I just do not know. The bloke has got, Ollie Watkins got 414 points in 2 seasons, and he's 9 million. He's outscored Haaland 2 seasons running, and he is £9 million. Why is he not in everyone's team? If his opening fixtures, this might not show up on the screen depending on where I've got it positioned, but his opening fixtures, he's got Newcastle, we're in trouble. You know, we've not had a great summer. He's got Brentford, his old team, again, bad summer. Crystal Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, Burnley and Spurs. What an opening run of games that is. And look, I know you can't see it properly because of the way I've got my graphic, but, you know, that's a great run of games for Watkins. And he's £9 million, 5 million cheaper than Haaland, and he's outscored him 2 seasons running. Like, what are people doing without him? It makes no sense. So Watkins is nailed for me. Bowen, I'm not absolutely sold on Bowen. I'm not. Because with Bowen, I feel like it's a bit Chris Wood. You know, Chris Wood was great last season, but he was getting 1 chance and scoring 1 goal. And that's not good enough. You know, you can't be putting 8 million into a player who's only getting 1 chance. Now, Bowen is Mr. Consistency, though, and he is against Sunderland on that first day. But could Fulkrug fill that role, and I could put the money elsewhere? You know, if I put Fulkrug in, then suddenly I've got 3 million in the bank, and I can do Reinders to Marmouche. So, which is better? Reinders and Marmouche, Reinders and Bowen, or Marmouche and Fulkrug? You know, there's a second one to me, if I'm honest. Like I always am. I do like Evan Nilsson. So, no, 1552. Bloody hell, we've been going a while. Still got the views, huh? I really appreciate all the support today. Thank you very much. Van Dijk. Is anybody still on Van Dijk? Is anybody still on Liverpool defence? Like £6 million, it's not worth it. If you want to go with a Liverpool defender, what I would actually do is just, I know they say he's not going to go anywhere, but just get Gahey, because if he goes to Liverpool, he's going to be a 4.5 million starter, and if he stays at Palace, he's a good asset at Palace as well. So I like that. Steve-O still in the chat. I've missed Steve-O. Streamed a lot with Steve-O last season, and he's a lovely bloke. Like he's got the image of a rebel, but he's a lovely bloke. He's got a heart of gold, and I miss streaming with him. But I am delighted to see him back with Jason on Elite FPL. The chemistry them two have is brilliant. Now, I don't know how he's got the patience to do all this rating my drafts thing that he's been doing all summer. Fair play to him, but it's been quite good with it, because you put it on, you think, oh, he's just going to be rating drafts, and they rate them at the end, but they have a good, 40 minutes of discussion beforehand, and it's been wonderful having them back. It's been wonderful seeing Steve-O reinvigorated with Jason over on Elite FPL, and it's hard because D-Unit and Elite FPL are both streaming later, and I want to send you to both of them, but I can't, because you can't watch both unless you get one on your phone and one on your telly or something, which I would do. So what I would say is split the time with the pair of them, because they'll both be worth your time. But I'm very glad to see Steve-O back with Jason. I hope I get some opportunities to stream with him before the end over the next few weeks and months, because he's a top man, big fan. He's, Gary tells me about all the voicemail chats that they have together, and it's the only thing that's ever made me want to get into using voice notes. The thought that Steve-O might send me one privately, and we could have a bit of banter. But the problem is, I'm always around people, so I prefer reading. So, who would I choose for a replacement for Gvardiol? Well, Nunes, he's in my squad. You know, just make sure you've got a 4.5 million defender on your bench for when he is rested. What's my opinion on Rutter? Jorginho Rutter. I have looked at him. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at him, and then FPL Fran, he was talking about him yesterday as well, and he's quite high on him. I think he got 10 goals in 19 games or something. Maybe not that much. Bring it up on the screen. £6 million, 5 goals and 6 assists in 19 starts, which is a great record, and is likely to have a lot more of the share of the minutes this season, because they have lost Joao Pedro, Welbeck's another year older, and they have lost Adingra as well. But you could make the same argument for Yankuba Minter, and I think if I was going Brighton, I would go for Yankuba Minter for that loose Newcastle connection, because, you know, if I'm torn between two players, I might as well go for the one that has some sort of tangential connection to me in some remote way. But I think Rutter is a great pick. I think they've got lovely fixtures, and maybe I'll go for him instead of Reinders. I don't know. We're going to have to get on to picking this team. Evan Nilsson or Strand Larsen, says D-Unit. Well, I prefer Strand Larsen. I do. I prefer Strand Larsen over the 7.5 million options, except if Wissa signs for Newcastle, because Strand Larsen, once he got settled, people say Strand Larsen will struggle without Cunha setting him up. But Strand Larsen thrived without Cunha last season. He played 5 games at the end of the season without Cunha after that red card, and when Cunha got benched. Strand Larsen had 5 games. He scored 6 goals and got an assist. 6 goals and an assist in 5 games without Cunha. Now he's got 38 games without Cunha. 7.5 times as many. So if he gets 6 goals, what's that? You know, based on them games, he's on course for 45 goals this season, Strand Larsen. So I would rather have Strand Larsen than any of the 7.5 million. I just feel like you need that money in the bank to have the escape route from him if something happens. I love the bloke. Like, I do want Newcastle to sign him. I do. He would be my preferred Isak replacement, Strand Larsen. Well, actually, no. Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan would be my preferred Isak replacement. I just don't think would pay his wages. Any other questions? I just saw one and then it skipped. Never mind. I'm not used to having a chat this going off. I pick all my players based on Japanese anime music. I don't watch a lot of anime. You know, I only watched it for my daughter. She's into it. And then I bought this clan ad for Christmas because I said it packed an emotional punch. And she wasn't keen. She'd never heard of it. It wasn't cool, like, you know, Demon Slayer and Spy Kids and Naruto. So I said, come on, I'll watch it with you. And I watched it with her. And then her brother got into it. And then my wife got into it. And then we ended up watching the whole thing as a family. And, oh, man. If you want to get into Japanese anime, and I don't know why you would, but Clanad is the one. It's powerful. Oh, it gets me in the feels. Even now, I'm getting a feeling. I'm lovely, wonderful. Am I smoking heroin? What's happening on this stream? I don't know if you are or not, but if you are and it's a problem for you, there are good services out there to help you. No more Vicario. No, I decided against Vicario, mainly because he could be replaced by Kinski at any moment. And then, I'd rather have Sells and Dubravka, who are both ex-Newcastle, both first choice. And like I said, Dubravka is likely to rise in price in the opening weeks when he starts playing. And, I don't think there's going to be a better 4 million option unless Kinski gets... unless Vicario gets injured. So I'd rather get Dubravka at 4 million than need him at 4.3 million if Vicario gets injured or something. So just a sensible move, I think. Wood or Solanke? Neither would be my option. Strand Larsen would be my... Well, no, I'll answer the question asked. You come to me for answers, and I'll be honest with you, like I always am. If it was Wood or Solanke, I'd go Chris Wood, because Solanke might have decent fixtures, but Wood has got decent fixtures as well, and Wood is more proven. And for all Forest have underwhelmed in pre-season, it's only pre-season. Like, Wood's 33 or something. Why would he be going balls out in pre-season instead of saving it? Yeah, actually, I haven't thought about it for like 5 seconds. I think that's an easy answer, and it's Chris Wood. Marmouche or Mbeumo? I like both. I'd go Marmouche. I'm tempted to get Marmouche in my own team. Like I say, maybe Born and Rangers to Marmouche and Fulkrug. Quite like that. So, yeah, I would go Marmouche. I think he's going to get a lot of points this season. You know, he's settled in the league now. He was pretty nailed last season. I think he's going to have a big season. Ekatike or Watkins? I'd take Watkins over anyone. Take Watkins over any striker on the game. He's the number one pick for me up front. And if you don't have him, it's time to rip up the squad. Marmouche, Barker and Kunku. At some point, these jokes will get wearisome. And that point for me was about game week 3 last season. Lacroix and Tarkovsky or Anderson and Aitnori? Depends on who your sub-defender is. I would go with... I'm assuming... Oh, I thought it meant Elliot Anderson. I'm assuming you mean Joachim Anderson and Aitnori. Or Lacroix and Tarkovsky. Depends on the rest of your defence, I think. If you've got another big one like Milenkovic, another nailed one, I would go Aitnori and Anderson, because if Aitnori misses out, you've got Anderson to come in, and Anderson, with his DEFCON and XGC stats, could get points in any game, even if he did underwhelm last season. Excuse me. Burping a lot, that's a Vimto. I need a wee. I'm desperate for a wee, but I'm going to keep going until 6:30 if I can. 4:30 if I can, sorry, until D-Unit and Elite FPL depart. Also, we haven't actually finalised this squad yet, have we? So I would go Anderson and Aitnori. But I would let me tempt you with Mateus Nunes. Would have got 161 points if he played all season as a defender last year, and his data was extrapolated out. 161 points, would have been the top scoring defender, and he only played 2/3 of the season, so you would have had about 14 games of a DEFCON defender coming in to take you over 200 points. But yeah, Aitnori, I've considered him myself. I do like him as a gamble. It's a law you have to have a player from the team I support, says Cameron Ashworth. I kind of agree. Like, seeing Gordon in my team, you know, now that yellow flag's gone, it just feels right. If it goes tits up, at least it'll be going tits up to get Visser in. But I would rather be cheering on Gordon than cheering on anybody else. Constant Aquarist, glad I found your channel. I'm glad you found my channel too, Aquarist. I'm glad you all have found my channel. I really appreciate the support. I'm very grateful. So the poll says 83% yes. We're going to end the poll now. 83% says I should start a mini league for the supporters of the channel. So let's do that right now. So create a league and cup. What should we call it? We need to get a name in the chat quick. Somebody give me a good one that uses my name of Nightmare in there. Can't have Nightmares Dreamers. I've already got that one. You can't actually see it on the screen due to the way I've got it set up. Nightmares. Thing. Not Dreamers. Maybe I could call it the Nightmare Family, like Cody Rhodes from the wrestling. The Nightmare Family. Come on. Like the Addams Family. We're all a bit kooky here. So we will create that, the Nightmare Family. And this is the open league for everyone. I'm the only one in there now. Invite people to join the league. And we will... Can I get that big enough to get on the screen? Right. Maybe if I move the window capture though, the problem's going to be that the mask I've got that enables this overlay here is going to go all tits up. So actually, maybe if I make it smaller. No, that's not working either. Right, I will drop the code for that league in the chat right now. Join the Nightmare Family Mini League, and the code is 31A78V. So that is in the chat there now. Now we will get back to the team selection page. There we go. Now we need to get this bad boy finished, don't we? Come on now. So now we have the Nightmare Family Mini League set up. And that is in the chat. So if you find it in the chat, I don't know if I can... I'll pin that message as well. I don't know how to do all this. Deadline Nightmare. Deadline Nightmare would have been a good name. No Salah, no Nightmare. Nightmare League. King. Well, I'm not a king. King of the North. So, Andrew may have a leak on his live stream. I wonder, have you ever asked yourself this? Do any of these big streamers, maybe D-Unit can answer this one, do any of the big streamers who do these deadline streams regularly, do they ever wear adult diapers? Just so they don't have to go off the camera. Because you can see I'm swaying a bit now. I am feeling that full bladder, and still, much like I'm going to take it to the limit with this team, I'm going to keep drinking my Vimto. Because we need the fizz. We need to determine this squad, and we're losing viewers, people. We are losing viewers. D-Unit saying put the league there in afterwards. I will do. I will share it on my socials. I'll put it in the description. I'll pin it in the comment afterwards for you to join the Nightmare Family League in honour of Cody Rhodes, who helped form my favourite wrestling company, All Elite Wrestling. Right, so what I would say is that the chat is dying down a bit. I can feel my own energy dying down a touch. I can't actually believe I have gone for an hour and 45 minutes, over 100 minutes. I've barely stopped talking the whole time. And I'm all right. I also haven't had a single vape. This is the longest I've been without a vape in months, years. You wouldn't get this on the FPL Have a Beer channel, would you? Oz Anonymous is saying he doesn't want to make me jealous, but he's off for a tinkle now. Well, he's going to miss the team selection finalisation. Right, are we going with big man Mateta? Let's have a look at a few of these squads. This is the one, I do like this one. This is a safe bet, nailed players for nailed teams in nailed systems where, you know, people, like, these are the safe bets. You can know, all these players know what they're doing in the teams. I like it, I do. I like it a lot. But there's no Newcastle. That is the problem. So, but I want to get this locked in now. And I won't tinker, I promise you, I won't tinker. I will take a screenshot and I will share it on my socials after the deadline. Remove Anderson. D-Unit is desperate for me to remove Anderson. Right, he's going. He's going. You've bullied me into it. This is peer pressure. Let me see what 4.5 million defenders are there. Let me see. Gehi, Concert, Wan-Bissaka. Do you know what? I've got two... Do you know what? Bugger it. Bugger it. We'll take him on in attack with De Kuiper. De Kuiper for Anderson. There you go. That's the power of the D-Unit cult. That is the power of D-Unit on me. This is how easily I succumb to peer pressure. And this is why I needed you here with me today to see me through to the finish line. To see me get past this deadline without more Salah in my team. Right, so we've got De Kuiper. De Kuiper is in the team now. I quite like it because I can start him over Munoz in game week 1 as well. And then when he scores against Anderson, it's going to feel even better. I like it. Thank you, D-Unit. Right. Midfield. What are we thinking of the midfield? I've got $1 million to spend. Do I get a Mad Diallo? Do I go for a Mad Diallo over Reindeer? I don't think so. I just don't think so. Because the problem is, I've not even got the right thing on, have I? So there we go. D-Unit, you can see I've taken Anderson out and I've put De Kuiper in. De Kuiper has been added to my squad. What I don't like about this, I don't like the thought of removing Rangers and having no Man City attack because I feel like they're going to be good. I do have that money in the bank. I am desperate for a wee, so we need to get this finished. Do we sack off Verts? $1 million in the bank. Do you know, I'm pretty happy with this. $1 million in the bank. Rangers, keep the $1 million. Then if I want a 7.5 million striker, we can go up from Strand Larsen. We can go Rangers to... I am really struggling. The drama of this stream is that I need a wee. Right, do you know what? I am going to go for a wee and then come back and finish this team. So you look at that, $1 million in the bank. You tell me what you would do with this team. When I get back, I'll be 2 minutes. Here he is, he's back now. Thank you for waiting. Still 94 watching. Still 94 people watching me ramble on after 105 minutes with a 2-minute toilet break. Now, I know it's poor form to leave the dead air on the stream, but I trusted you. I thought you would look at this squad and have the answers for me. So, and also... I'm not a template streamer. If I need a wee, I'll go for a wee. You won't make me feel bad about emptying my bladder. Now I feel refreshed. D-Unit's nervous for his stream. I've got D-Unit nervous for his stream. Well, I'll tell you what, D-Unit, maybe I'll just keep on streaming and keep all your cult. No, I will not do that because we're a team here in the FPL streamers, in the pubcast. We're a team. D-Unit streaming with Shane, who FPL veteran, who made his pubcast debut the other night. Very good. He streamed with him. Sent them over from his stream to me. I'll send them back to D-Unit and Steve-O in 15 minutes. I think that's when Steve-O streams. Downgrade Gordon to get Gyökeres. You see, now, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bring up, this is the safe bets squad. I do like this squad. There is no... Who do I think is the best 6.5 midfielder only for this week? Only for this week. What are the fixtures? Let me just see the fixtures. Only for this week. I mean, you could probably go with... Only for this week, I'm saying Yankuba Minter. The best 6.5 midfielder. Only for this week, Yankuba Minter. He's up against Fulham. And, of course, all the cartel have Anderson, so you'll be stealing a march there. And also, they're missing Anthony Robinson, aren't they? So, Minter, bang. Yeah, Minter would be my 6.5 million or under. Did AI give the odds of me going for a wee in the stream? I'm not entirely sure they did, but I'm not as bad as Gary. I hope I wash my hands, of course. Do you think I'm going to touch? I've spent thousands of pounds on my computer equipment. Do you think I'm going to touch it with urine hands? You're insane. Bruno to Saka. I don't want to go from Bruno to Saka. Like, I'm asking for your advice on my team. If I bring it back up, I'm asking for your advice on the team. Right, I can tell you for now, Bruno Fernandes is going nowhere. He is going to... I rate Bruno Fernandes too highly this season. I think he's going to be top 3 scorers. I think he could well finish top scorer. He's got too many routes to points. You know, he's got the DEFCONs. He's got penalties, free kicks. He's had absolute garbage. Now look at these. You can see this on the screen. Look at this. Half a season, 117 points. Then 244 points. That was the year. This was the year Man United finished second. 244 points. And then since then, they got rid of Solskjaer. And it's been utter shite. He's been surrounded by absolute dross for years. Absolute dross. And look at this. 151 points, 176 points, 166 points. Last season, when he was playing deeper for a lot of it, he had Xerxes, he had Garnacho, who couldn't care less, he had Hoyland, who can't score, all these jokers up ahead of him, and he got 174 points. Now, he's got Amad Diallo fit down one wing. He's got Dorgu down the other. He's got Bruno... Not Bruno, he is Bruno. He's got Mateus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo and Benjamin Šeško up ahead of him. Like, all these chances he creates. You know, 12 assists last season from 7.89 expected assists. And now look at all the players he's going to be providing. Like, Bruno Fernandes is going to go through the roof this season, and he's not leaving my team. So I appreciate the thought, but it's not happening. But we are looking where, I would say, where I'm not sure. I'm happy with this defence. Not 100% sold on Munoz, because it could be Porro. What do you think, D-Unit? Pedro Porro? Who's my captain? Well, game week 1, Sven Garley asks who my captain is. Well, I've got Bowen against Sunderland. If in doubt, captain against Sunderland. Sodom. So I will be captaining Bowen if needs be. Or Cole Palmer against Crystal Palace. But then I've got Munoz. But like I said, I've been benching Munoz for De Kuiper. Who am I unsure about? Reinders and Gordon. I would say they're the only two now that I'm unsure about. Still $1 million in the bank as well. So, do I go with Amad? Is it stupid? Is it Amad to go with Diallo? D-Unit saying Foden is fit. That is not doesn't change my thinking at all. Like, is it silly to go no Salah, no Haaland, and keep $1 million in the bank? I mean, I could upgrade Strand Larsen to Joao Pedro or Chris Wood, but I do like saving that money for Wissa. And do you know, I actually wouldn't be surprised if Strand Larsen scored tomorrow. Do I upgrade the defence? Do I change Nunes for Aït-Nouri? I mean, that's a possibility. Munoz, is Munoz the one? Rangers, do I swap Rangers for Elliot Anderson? Answer me that in the chat. As a Newcastle fan, do I bring back the Geordie Maradona? The one Triggerlips' video led me to. I'm not getting Shaka. I'm hearing Shaka in this chat. I'm not getting the Sunderland players. I wouldn't even get Gooey Ooey. Matt, Gooey Ooey. No, don't have Gooey Ooey in your squad, by the way. There's a word of advice. Do not have Matt Gooey Ooey, because if he doesn't do anything, like you talk about your players nailed to price drop, Gooey he'll be 4.3 million in 3 weeks. So if you're wanting a budget striker, get Krupi Jr. And if you want Gooey for an early bench boost, well, change your strategy. Watch my video from the other day and get on the delayed chip strategy game week 13 onwards. Anderson safer than Reinders but lower ceiling. I tend to agree. Yeah. I feel like Reinders, I could switch to Anderson at any point, but I feel like Reinders might be worth having a gamble with early doors. Like, because if I have Reinders, I can bench Strand Larson, go with Reinders, and then if Reinders is benched, I can sell him, get Elliot Anderson, and start Strand Larson from now on. I feel like I'm wasting this million though. And I don't have Arsenal or Palace. Like, you bring up here. I keep going back to this one. Like, imagine it's De Kuiper instead of Anderson, just for D-Unit's sanity. Although he's probably gone now, because he's streaming himself. Imagine that's De Kuiper instead of Anderson. I do like this one. Like I say, you've got Bowen against Sunderland, game week 1 captain. You've got Saka against Leeds, game week 2. Then I could switch him to Wirtz if I really wanted to. Then you've got Mateta against Sunderland, game week... No, Bruno Fernandes against Burnley, game week 3. Mateta against Sunderland, game week 4. And Watkins against Sunderland, game week 5. I do like it. I do like it. I do. I'm tempted. I feel like this might be the one, you know. Maybe with... But Saka, I mean, like, let's be for real. We're all struggling. Like, nobody's thinking of Saka. And really, it's a bit strange that Saka is being so overlooked. I know he's got tough games. But even last season, in 20 starts, he got 127 points. And, like, it took him ages to get up to speed again. So he could be on for 250 points plus this season. Could Saka. 226 the year before. I do like... But then there's no Wirtz, is there? That's the problem. Saka or Wirtz? Who would you go with? Saka or Wirtz? I'm conscious of the time. Don't worry, D-Unit. I'm appreciating you still being here. Bin Anderson. I've just said, imagine this one with De Kuiper there. Oh, my word. My God, my throat's dry now, like. Kukurea from Unos. I could do, but with Colwell out, I mean, I did have... This is the squad from my original squad that I finished the video with the other day. And I mean, I could still go with this. Saka, no, this is helpful. Saka, Wirtz, Saka over Wirtz, Wirtz better value. Well, D-Unit's off. Thank you, D-Unit, for all your support today and over the last few nights. I will promise you I will be over to your stream very shortly. I've got 6 minutes to decide this. I'll be over and I will let you know what it is. Wirtz and Saka downgrade Bowen to Fulkrug. Fulkrug against Sunderland. That is a spicy meatball. I don't know if I could captain him though, but oh, could I? Could I captain Fulkrug against Sunderland? The big Deutsche Destroyer against the Mackhams. Right, what's he saying? Wirtz and Saka. Yeah, I just don't... Oh, I could if I dropped Gordon. What have I got up on the screen here? I've got the safe one. Let's have a look. Bring the live browser back. Oh, that does look tasty, doesn't it? That does look tasty, and there's still $500,000 in the bank. But I can't get to a Mad Diallo. If Rangers... Oh man, that looks spicy. But I can't get to the 7.5 million striker. So do I downgrade one of those defenders? Do I sack off this? I haven't. Stephen North saying he can't believe I've dumped Wirtz. He's in my squad at the minute. At the minute, the midfielders Palmer, Wirtz, Fernandez, Saka, Reinders, and then Watkins, Fulkrug, and Strand Larsen. I'm not sure about Fulkrug, you know. Bowen seems a lot more sensible. This is the pressure. This is the pressure. You know, and the thing is, I've still got another 2 hours till the actual deadline, but I want it finished before we go. Hayden Krellin saying he's sick of Matthias Nunes. Well, you might be, Hayden, but this is the one person I've been bullish on. You know, I made a big part of my video last weekend about Matthias Nunes being the cheat code. So if I go without him, like, I'm trying to build a reputation on this here YouTube. So why wouldn't I go with the one player I've hyped up the most? Like, that to me feels like the sort of call that most people would back away from. And I don't think you're here on this channel to see me back away from them sort of calls. I'm not getting rid of Milenkovic. You've got to back the Serbs. A great woman once said, always back the Serbs. That's what I will be doing. I could go Gyökeres, you're right. But then I kind of like this one that has Mateta in, you know. I do. You know, like, you look at that defence, that's quite attacking. I like that midfield. I do like that midfield in the attack. Anderson, solid sub. I don't... See, if I could get Gordon in instead of Rodgers, I'd probably go with that, you know. But how do we do that? Do we drop Anderson to Rodon? Do we drop Munoz to Lacroix? Sells to Petrovic? Am I ever going to play 3 up front? Well, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? You know? You can get better subs for 4.5 million, 5 million, 5.5 million in midfield than up front. Why not downgrade Agbadou? Because I love him. I love him, like. I think he's a Agbadou, you know? Am I ever going to play 3 up front? Well, maybe. Maybe. But then, I'm just putting something together here. What if, because we're not scared to use transfers on this channel. We're not like, you know, these cartel that say you need to build your transfers up for as long as possible. That's not the way we play the game. What if we do this? Right, who's the best 4 million defender? Rodon. Yelena said Rodon was a bonus points magnet. Who's he got? He's got Everton, Fulham, Wolves, first 5, Bournemouth. Oh, he's not actually got bad fixtures. Right, hear me out on this. I'm about to put it up on the screen. What about this squad? And then, so you're looking at midfield. Saka, Fernandez, Wirtz, Palmer, Watkins and Bowen. Start Reinders and then Strand Larsen next week. Defence, I've got Nunes and Milenkovic. I've got the Kuiper, Agbadou, and then Rodon as the final cover if needed. So I've got, you know, 2 DEFCON monsters. The Kuiper for the attacking gamble. And then game week 4. Was it game week 4? I said Mateta against Sunderland. Bowen to Mateta game week 4 for that Sunderland captain. And then I'd have, I feel like I should get FPL team. Or, do you know what? I'm going to go with this, I think. I like this. You know, because you look at that. I could have Bowen captain against Sunderland. Game week 2, Saka versus Leeds. Game week 3, Fernandes versus Burnley. Game week 4, do Bowen to Mateta. And have Mateta against Sunderland captain. Game week 5, Watkins against Sunderland. I've still got an extra $500,000 in the bank, which I could upgrade Road on to another defender if I wanted. If Nunes doesn't work, I can, when I bring in Mateta against Sunderland, I can give Munoz 3 weeks and then bring in, I can give Nunes 3 weeks, then bring in Munoz against Sunderland as well. I like it. I like this. I feel like this is the one. Oh, Yelena's here. Hello, Yelena. I've been shouting you out a bit recently. They've been telling me to get rid of Milenkovic, and I'm like, no. A great woman said always back to Serbs. I like this team. I like the rotation. Although I've not really checked the defender rotation, but Milenkovic, Nunes, and De Kuyper, we can gamble with that. Agbadou, the defensive monster, the powerhouse, the DEFCON powerhouse. And I do like Wolves. I did hype up Sarr a little bit for the goalkeeper. That midfield is fire, that attack. Bowen to Mateta, game week 4. We're locking it in. We are locking it in. We are locked and loaded. Right, we'll just get the team set up. So we're not going to start a Road on. We will start the Kuiper. We will have Road on instead of Agbadou on the bench. We will captain against... I don't like these checkboxes for captaincy. I feel like that's a bit of an issue. Save the team now. What we thinking then? Sells in goal. Nunes, Milenkovic, De Kuyper. In defence. Fernandes, Palmer, Wirtz, Reinders and Saka midfield. Bowen and Watkins up front. Bowen captain against Sunderland, which makes me feel better about having Watkins against my beloved Newcastle. And then next week, we would obviously bring Strand Larsen in for Reinders. Try and roll the transfers to game week 4. In game week 4, who's Bowen got in game week 4? See, Chelsea Forest, I can see him doing well against them. He's got Spurs in game week 4, hasn't he? Spurs, Palace, Everton, Arsenal. See, that's a good time, really. I mean, I could even do Mateta next week if I wanted. I like it. We're locked in, people. We are there. This is the team to take on that disgusting mini-league I'm up against. A reminder of this mini-league I'm trying to win. The mini-league I think will take me all the way to the top of this game, to the world number 1. I am predicting FPL's winner this year will come from this mini-league. Nightmares, Dreamers. Look at these names. It's a who's who of anyone that's anyone in this game, except for that blank space. Could it be filled by Mark Southerns? Could it be filled by Late Riser? Could it be filled by Focal or by Zofar? Could it be filled by Fabio Borges? Does anyone have Borges' contact details? I would like to fill that space with a true old school elite operator. That's what I want. I want Southerns. I want Mark Southerns to fill that space, but I can't get him to read my DMs. And why would he? But maybe tomorrow, maybe after the deadline, we can fill that space with Southerns. Let's hope so. But that's the league we're going up against. These are the elite calibre of people we are up against. And that is the team we're doing it with. I like it. Thank you for watching. 82 people still watching after 2 hours and 5 minutes of me streaming. I do want Southerns, Yelena. I want that Southerns comfort. I want him. I want him in this league. I want him on the black box when I go on the black box in 2 weeks. 2 weeks tonight, I will be on the black box. I can't believe I've not hyped that up. But yeah, as announced it on the Juice last week, I have been invited on the black box. My price of admission was that I have to do the Manscaped ad. I want to practice. I want to do it with a bit of banter, thinking of growing my beard as bushy as I can and saying I'd look a lot tidier if only I could get Manscaped. But that's enough advertising them for free. And I want Southerns. Like, all I'm saying, as if you're watching, yelling her if you're telling us, all I'm saying is, Mark Southerns could wear a Mexican wrestling luchador mask and a voice decoder thing and come on the black box with me and us, and if Andy North or Luke are on there as well, why not, Why not? We could call him Marcos Southernos, the Mexican Lucha Libre FPL legend. So yeah, anyway, enough. I'm rambling nonsense now. Thank you for coming to my stream. Go and support D-Unit. Go and support Elite FPL. That's what I will be doing now. I have finished 2 hours. 2 hours of non-stop talking, except for my league. We've got to the team. You nearly let me leave bloody Vert's vice captain. What use is the chat if they're not telling me I've got Vert's vice captain? Let's get that on. Cole Palmer. Are we going Cole Palmer? Do you know what? Matthias Nunes vice captain because I back him. No, it's a bit silly. No, we'll not be stupid. Let's not be stupid. We will go with the vice captain of Palmer, Captain Bowen. Take on the Mackhams. Save the team. You've seen it saved. Once again, if you could, in the pinned comment is the public league for the Nightmare FPL Nightmare channel, the Nightmare family, open to all. And I hope you come along. I hope you stay along for the ride this season. See how I get on in this the Nightmares Dreamers League. I feel like I'm going to get my ass kicked. I feel like I've bitten off more than I can chew, but getting your ass kicked is the first step before you get back up off that canvas like Tyson Fury and become that world champion. That will do me for now. Thank you. Good luck with your own deadline dilemmas. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time.